I'll call the meeting to order, 6:36. Yeah. See. Greg. We have a court. Did you go public? Oh, and no guests. So we'll move right down to the executive director's report, staff report.
Yep. So I just gave you a quick update on the Mariners Way committee, and I don't know if any of you actually attended. I wasn't able to. I did actually listen to it in the car, but
I actually purchased this.
oh, good, okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought Bruce did a good job.
It seemed like it went well,
Yeah,
from what I could tell. From
yeah, I think I was the only non-landlord there, so,
I mean, the attendance I thought was pretty good, considering he told me how many people showed
yeah,
up for
there's
it.
probably like 4 or 5 different owners. Greg Alford was very cool.
Yeah,
I thought Bruce did a good job. The one area that I think he needs to consider is, one of the owners, I think he either owns the construction or he owns the development company at the end of, just before you get onto the highway. And they do work 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and if they do zone residential there, they're gonna be out there banging around,
yeah,
right? So they were asking the question, what is the town gonna do for zoning so they don't get complaints? And Bruce didn't really have a good answer. He said he'd leave it up to the developer.
yeah.
Which the developer, I mean, they don't really care, right? They're gonna build it and leave, so. So I think he has to kind of figure that one out a little better, so.
Yeah. And they are considering in that area, and I think Bruce did talk about that, is proposing something like they have at Saybrook Point, where there are 3 sort of distinct zones within the bigger zone. But it still probably wouldn't solve that problem, because that and the road is where they're thinking of having
Right.
the residential, which would conflict with that.
Yeah, and you know that would be a nightmare if somebody's out there loading a 20-yard dump truck at 2 in the morning.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But other than that, I thought he did a nice job.
good.
Did they talk about a timeline?
Not really, it was rather vague. It was in terms, well, it's not vague, it's just they're looking at doing the sidewalks and stuff. And then they'll go to zoning, but there's really not much gonna happen there until they move out of the construction on the bridges down there.
Right.
It's not that much for sale.
Yeah, so what they're focusing on is the things that they have control over, which is a potential change of the streetscape.
Yeah.
So there's a study underway for that. Luckily, there was a study done in 2017 that proposed different streetscape things already, and they were able to take that, give it to the town engineer, and they're just evaluating how that fits.
It was a nice path. There have a 6-foot median or so from the road, which is grass and trees, and then it's like a 10 or 12-foot wide path for
Yeah.
bikes and walking.
Yeah,
That goes the whole length all the way to Ragged Rock, and then a regular sidewalk on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so hopefully, especially if more development happens down at Berry Road where we'd like it to, and there'll be like this nice way to get there.
How will a bike lane be incorporated?
It's
a multi-
that path is,
Multimodal path.
Big,
yeah, it's 10, it's on the drawing, it was 12, and they said it might go down to 10 feet, so that's
Okay.
plenty wide.
great,
Right, so I'm assuming they'll probably put a line in it, and
Yeah.
bikes on this side, walk on that side or whatever, so.
great.
So yeah, that looked nice, so.
I mean, I think too, some things that have been discussed, and it will all depend on how some of the other stuff. Falls in line, and even maybe. How some of the infrastructure might be able to be adapted from the railroad bridge, which I heard is like amazing, the infrastructure that you have out there.
Yeah,
But I mean, there are some thoughts about whether or not there can be some kind of pedestrian path or access close to the water too down there. I don't know how it will all shake out. But they're working on several things right now, so a soil study, this streetscape, which would also include sort of like a welcoming entrance, so that it would be more like a place instead of just a road that people speed down to get somewhere else. So. Unless anyone has any questions? So just proceeding along with the due diligence for Saybrook Point. Nothing really new there. The RFP for the seawall repair, is, due back this Thursday. So I don't know how many, I believe we're gonna get at least half a dozen people bidding on it. So,
Do we have any idea where the dollars are gonna come
we have some idea, but it's one of those things where once you start digging, is when you'll really know for sure. I mean, luckily we have now almost $400,000 in grant funding and $100,000 that we put aside previously. So that's a good start. We don't plan on completely redoing everything. There was a pretty extensive study done by the marine engineering firm, and they pretty much prioritized the areas and figured out which ones could just have rock replacement and which ones needed like a full scale, like concrete barrier poured in the ground, but you won't know for sure until we get in there, but hopefully all the prep work has not been burnt off. But that'll be great because once that piece is done, we can really start doing other things. Carl and I actually have already been working on an RFP for a firm to put together a master plan for that whole area. Because I think now that we're gonna, hopefully, if there's no problems during the due diligence, have all of that, that we should look at it in that way holistically. So.
And has there been any discussion on parking? I mean, I know it's public parking, but the fact that Saybrook Point employees park there.
I don't know what they're gonna do about that piece. I mean, that's been a problem for a while. I do know that as part of the master plan, Carl wants to consider ways to expand the parking a little bit or be a little creative with it so that we could have some more parking options, but
Any thought to limiting how long you can park there?
I don't know. But I mean, I think any idea would be on the table, other than. I mean, I think we would prefer not to. I mean, some residents are saying, well, we should have resident parking only, but I'm not sure how we could do that. The restaurant, it's not,
Yeah, right, no.
yeah,
Out of towners want to play miniature golf, right?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So,
So has there been any talk about with the pavilion that there would be like pull down doors, like that would have glass in them or plexiglass? So that part of the pavilion could be closed off to the weather?
Carl did have quoted out, like roll down sides.
Right,
Yeah,
good.
as a possibility, so that it could be a little more 3-season-ish or
Yeah.
protect you from wind or rain if you were using it for an event or a special occasion or something. But, I mean, all of those amenities are TBD, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely on the table.
And have you talked also about a heating element and cooling element, like, some way to heat a portion of it if it was closed off?
That has not been discussed so far, but it certainly could be. I don't know what ramifications of that. I love it. I mean, I think any reasonable suggestions will be considered. That's not something we have talked about or priced out yet. Let's see. Marketing, just been doing our spring, promotions and promoting, the business event, and I've been promoting like weekend stuff in America 250. We haven't started our Celebrate Saybrook promotions yet. That will start up soon. I didn't have any hot topics in zoning, but I'm sure there's something going on up there. Well, I know there's a lot going on up there, actually. I know they're swamped. But let's see. Celebrate Saybrook, we closed a registration. We have like 130 or 140 registrants at this point. We have a good showing for Main Street. We're meeting this week to finalize a bunch of stuff. So that is moving right along. We've added some more entertainment for families this year. Of course, the patriotic drone show, which will be about 14 minutes long. I think it'll be cool. And I think Carl went out with the chief of police and they put up the police drone and sort of tested out like the best viewing spots for it. And so we've kind of figured out where we want the drone field to be so that when they go up, people could watch from the town green, people could watch from Main Street Connection Park and have a good view of it. So.
Any feedback on the change in time, starting later in the day?
I mean, none of the vendors have really said anything about it, so,
What about some of the merchants on Main Street?
well, I'm sure if I go to a Main Street Business Events Association meeting, I will hear plenty of something, as I always do. But, I don't know, there have not been any complaints so far. To be honest with you, I think some of them will be happier with the later time.
That's what I'm
because,
wondering, yeah.
yeah, the biggest issue was that we were messing with the breakfast crowd.
Right.
And that is no longer an issue. We're not messing with the hardware store's timing anymore.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe they'll be happier with it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, every year we learn something.
Yeah. But
Maybe,
also starting a little bit later gets you out of the complete heat of the day.
yeah, I'm hoping to not bake. Last year was
Oh,
was like
last year.
brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, I just, it's like, how many more hours do I have? Oh, it was tough. So, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting how we transition from the event to the drone thing.
Yeah.
And still get vendors out. That'll, I think, be a big challenge, but. You know, our public safety crew is pretty good and. So I'm sure they'll figure that piece out.
So who's doing the drone show? Is it local or is there some organization that does
I
it?
can't remember what state they're from.
Huh.
Like out in the Midwest or something like that. There was no one local that we could find. They're all like out there, and this is what they do. They travel around the country and they do these shows.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's pretty cool actually because, you know, they send you sort of a thing based on the number of drones you want, because you can have 150 drones or 200 drones or 250 drones, and you know, that dictates a little bit of how detailed your show can be. And then they'll send you like a draft based on your ideas, and you can have, I think, up to 4 or 5 of your own personal images. And they send you like a little storyboard, and you get to comment on it, and then they start programming it, whatever they do to do that on the back end, so.
If I remember correctly, I think it was this past 4th of July, there were some fabulous with the, I think the Washington DC and New York, that they were incredible. I couldn't believe that they were drones you know, making all these images in the skies.
They can make like animated things, like
Yeah,
a bird flapping its wings or,
Hmm.
yeah. It's pretty interesting. So I forget if I think we're having 200 drones.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come to that.
We're getting attacked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nobody is allowed, like, they don't let anybody on the drone field and they line them all up. And then they all come up and they do like some kind of formation to get like started and then goes into the show.
Well,
Kind of cool. It'll be a novelty for sure. Let's see. So the business networking event, I think is going pretty good. We're up to about 100 people coming right now. And I know there are some people who aren't registered who are coming. So my goal was to have 150 people, so I'm hopeful that I meet that. Maybe even exceed it, but I'll be happy if I get to that.
Yeah, sorry, I can't make it, so.
I know, Susan can't make it either, so too bad. But anyway, every business owner got one of these, every business owner who has a Connecticut address. So over 800 people got this postcard. Hopefully, I don't know, Nick, did you get one?
No.
No?
No.
That's disappointing.
but that would be people who are registered as a business with the town, correct?
Yeah, and so maybe.
I'm not,
Okay. Well, hopefully your
maybe I should be, I don't
agency
know,
got it or something.
check.
And in addition to the postcard, I have been sending emails to all of the people who I have contacts for. And I sent a constant contact to my business lists. And we've been advertising through the chamber. I'm gonna go to First Thursday, which is the chamber's networking, thing that they do, and there's normally about 50 people there. And so that's this Thursday morning at 8, I'll go to that. So we've been getting the word out and I mean, I think it'll come together, but it's tough because people have a lot going on and even if you put something in front of them 6 times, the 6th time might be the charm, but you never know. But all of our sponsors are really awesome. They all have something that to offer small business owners that makes their life easier. Ascend Bank has their express lending. They're our big sponsor and they're really excited to be part of this. They've been trying to partner with me on something for a while and I think this is the perfect one. They've made these products to make it easy for small businesses to apply for funding. And so they've been excited to get that product out there a little bit more. And then we also have collabs, which they sort of are a one-stop shop to do all the things that you need done for your small business that you might not have time to do, or you might not have the expertise to do. And they're giving 2 really cool raffle items. Cause they split their sponsorship part money and part raffle items, and one of them is like a marketing package where they'll video the business owner and talk to them about their business, and then they'll take that and they'll make 10 social posts for them and show them how to use it to get impressions and things like that, and they can go and then do their own marketing campaign with the materials that they provide for them, which I think is a pretty good prize.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you can choose that, or you can choose an hour, like strategy, consultation with them, where they'll talk to you about your goals and your fears and what you wanna do, and they'll work with you to sort of start a plan for yourself. So I think those are 2 great prizes. And then we have Shoreline HR Consulting, which, they will do all your HR work for you. They'll do a single project for you. They'll consult for you. So some of these little things that can really bog you down as a small business owner, our sponsors are putting out solutions for small businesses. And the last one we have is Nexus Dynamics, and he has an IT company. And he's really great. I met him actually at I don't know if you ever heard of one of the events that the chamber holds where it's at Mercine, and it's like speed dating for businesses.
Yeah.
And they match you up with three people to meet who you tell them what you're kind of looking for. And so I got matched up with him one time, and I immediately found somebody who needed help. And I referred them to him, and he helped them for free because it was a really tiny matter.
Wow.
And I never forgot that he did that. And so he's gonna be one of our sponsors too. So I think it's a really good group of people. And then we have I'm still working on some more of our raffle items. Dream in Color Marketing is doing 1 hour of a package for us. Massage and Motion is doing he hasn't told me exactly what it's gonna be yet, but some kind of massage thing. Because what I tried to get the raffle items to be were either something that could be a service to a business. I've been trying to get somebody to do a headshot maybe for somebody, but I haven't been successful with that so far. Or somebody who would give like respite to a business. So I thought like the massage thing, he said he might even come in and do chair massages at a company. I have like a little package like family night out, which is for 4 tickets to mini golf with a Sweet Luna's and pizza, and then I'm gonna see if I can get dinner and a show. But I don't know, just like if you're a tired small business owner, maybe it'd be an excuse to go out and relax around town with your colleagues. So anyway, I think that's going pretty well so far. I saw you're signed up, Liz, Steve, and we signed up. And Erica, I know it's probably the same.
Yeah, I'll sign up.
Okay.
It's on my list to sign up, but I may have grandpa babysitting. That may take precedent, so.
It might be boring for your maybe.
He's no surprise.
I haven't gotten to see a preview of the video yet, and I'm dying to. And I asked about it, and they didn't answer me, and I think it's because tomorrow we're doing the focus groups for the new brand. So we have like 18 people coming to judge what we've come up with. So hopefully it's good judgment.
Have you seen it?
Yes,
And,
I like it.
oh, good.
I like it. It's very different than what we have, but I think it tells more of the story of old Saybrook. And lets you know what to expect coming here. And actually says Old Saybrook, not like this,
There's a thought.
which says nothing.
Yeah.
Will we get to see it?
Yes. Yep. And we're getting like, once we get the final feedback, I didn't have I thought about bringing it tonight to give you guys a sneak peek, but I don't have it. They didn't, at every other meeting we went to, they gave us a package that had how far we've gotten. And at the last meeting, they didn't give us one of them. I think they did it on purpose. But anyway, I think it'll be exciting. We'll see. We'll see if people feel accepting of it. I understand change is not always easy.
Well, it's been the same since 1636, so I guess it's maybe time to consider something new.
Well, the other thing is, so what we learned that was very interesting is that this was actually from Yale College. It doesn't actually really have to do with Old Saybrook. And there's sort of this lore that has developed over the years that, this has to do with the crests of Lord Sell and Lord Brooke and all of that. But really this doesn't have particular meaning to Old Saybrook, which is kind of interesting, but it's just persisted all this time.
Right.
Yeah. which I don't know, that might not be compelling enough for people because it has been here for so long.
How did we get started on redoing it?
So, when we started doing branding for, say, Old Saybrook and all of our, events. I mean, I started looking at this and some of the work that the marketing company has done for other municipalities.
Mhm.
Because again, this does not even say Old Saybrook.
No.
So unless you know that it means Old Saybrook, it really isn't something that's particularly useful for us to promote ourselves with. And the other thing is, if you look around town, everybody is using something different. Park and Rec has their own logo. The library has their own logo. Youth and Family has their own logo. The fire department has their own logo. The police department has their own logo. Like, you would never know that we actually are all part of one thing. And there's all kinds of disparate lighthouses being used all over town. It's sort of like our unofficial symbol. And so there really isn't any cohesiveness about our messaging.
So once we have this, are those areas gonna be asked to join in, or they gonna be allowed to still have their own logos?
It's a good question. I mean, I think that the more palatable route for most people would be for us to create. Because part of what would come with, so the logo is only one part of a brand, like a brand is your story, you know what I mean? And we'll get a guide that tells everybody how to color the lines, so to speak, and follow everything. I think personally, what would end up being most palatable for people would be to figure out how, when you're doing your messaging, that you include the town's brand along with whatever your chosen logo is that you feel is representing your organization. I mean, I don't know. That's not the best way, but I know for some departments that might be the easier way. That's gonna be up to Carl.
It is, I think from a branding and perception, if you're changing a logo, your fear is you're not going to attract people and business, and therefore you lose revenue. That's irrelevant when it comes to the library, right? Irrelevant when it comes to the fire department, so.
Park and Rec or Youth and Family
So I
Services.
just use an example.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter if the town adopts an appropriate logo for the town. There's no skin off the police departments to change their letterhead to that logo. They don't lose customers. So I don't get why they would be adverse to it.
I think maybe the police department probably wouldn't be as much of a problem. Fire, I don't know, because they have like their fire symbols, they might need a little more massaging. But Youth and Family, for example, in the library, hired somebody to do those logos for them, and I know it has meaning for them based on their mission. So, I mean, it's gonna be an education process. And, you know,
I mean, and I understand that,
yeah,
but I also think that they could bring in the group again and alter it to incorporate the new. And I don't think it should be an option. That's just me.
well, if I had my way, it wouldn't be an option. I mean, obviously, we wanna be uniform, we are the town. Like, we want people to understand that all these services are being provided for you by the town. We are one town team.
Because the library is the town, correct?
Yes,
Because I know Branford's is not.
yeah,
Branford is separate.
yeah, our library is town
That's what I
funded
thought.
completely, yeah. So,
You know, in today's world with AI, there's so much misconception. I saw this thing on Instagram the other day. The #1 town in Connecticut to promote, where everybody should visit. There was a picture, you look up quickly and, oh yeah, it's an overhead shot of Saybrook Point Inn. And then I see one house that I recognize and I look closely, I'm like, no, because I don't see the parking lot, I don't see Harbor One. So everybody was commenting, Old Saybrook's a great place, but it really isn't a shot of Old Saybrook. So we're in this conundrum with, AI changing things.
Mhm.
But I agree, I think it should be one consistent logo, and if you wanna do a watermark, over your letterhead, that's the fire department with your insignia kind of in the background, great, but it should be consistent. That's my opinion.
So I worked for the state of Connecticut when they changed their logo. Everyone has the same logo. All the different agencies. But I think it's, I mean, not that it matters so much, but I think if they want to have their little spot on the other side for a little while, along with logo they have to have,
Yeah,
that should work.
I mean, my vision would be that we fall under one umbrella, but we'll see what happens.
You may take, as you say, but, yeah, and I think the more it gets out there. And the more people see it, I'm hoping that they'll like it and
Yeah.
buy into it,
Right.
I mean,
Not gonna work that way.
And then there's reality.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. I go between very optimistic and very nervous. I go back and forth,
It'll
so,
be a painful process, I
Yeah.
promise.
Yeah. I know I might hide in my office for a while. Anyway. So that's happening tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll have something to share. All goes well. I gave you just an update on some of the stuff going on Main Street, like usual.
So when they pave, do you know how far they're going? Are they going down to College Street? Or they're going all the way to the point?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's just the downtown
Okay.
area. But I guess I don't know for sure, to be honest with you. I don't know if you noticed too, when you're driving into, I don't know what direction you guys come in from, but the two big garden beds that we're
Okay.
working on, yeah.
Hmm.
Public Works dug them all out and put the soil in today, so,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
It's gonna be nice. And you mentioned in here that Jackrabbits, is it just the restaurant that's been sold? Or is it both?
It's both pieces.
It is both, please.
Yep. Yep. So I think it'll be exciting, actually. A couple who bought it are really excited and have big plans and,
Good. It's a great little place.
and they bought the recipes too, so,
Oh, good.
yeah.
I like the wings.
I don't know if you saw when you walked in, that part of the new exhibit is up. I think the middle school, the elementary school, teacher is gonna have to move some of her stuff a little, because there isn't gonna be room for all of the stuff for the high schoolers and the middle schoolers. With the amount of space she left, but the kids did such a cute job, really cute with their things that they feel like show old Saybrook, so. We're gonna be putting out some more information pretty soon that tells about some of these ongoing things that you can come and see, because up until now, it's been mostly one and done events. And obviously the red, white, and blue down Main Street is gonna be for the whole season, and this is gonna be up for a while. Then Park and Rec is doing a scavenger hunt in our parks. And there's one other thing happening, but I can't think of it right now. So we have some longer term things coming up. And that's about it for my report.
Great. Moving on to regular business. The approval of minutes of April 7th. Accept a motion to make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Nick, second,
Second,
Dave. Anybody need time to read the minutes?
Right there.
Okay, if not, all in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Abstain? Minutes. Okay. Thank you. Anything else under correspondence or announcements?
I do not have anything else.
Okay. So we're down to the marketing report.
Yeah, so like I said, the only real thing that we've been running, that's paid is the spring, awareness campaign. And, we haven't had to spend a ton of money on that. Let's see, according to this report, this one only has, you know, around $400 spent on that. And for this one period, 1 month period, there were 12,000 impressions. It looks like, and, or actually, between the two things, there was over 20,000 impressions. And quite a good click-through rate, so. That's what you look for. I did have one person take me to task over the image that was on Saybrook events. I don't know if you noticed it, it was a person riding a bicycle, 2 people riding a bicycle down Main Street. I'll show you. And I was super excited about it. Because Saybrook Events asked us if we had a photo to help them out for the cover, and this is one that we had taken a couple of years ago, when we were starting to build our photo library. And the original picture, they are wearing shorts and t-shirts. It was taken during the summer.
Yeah.
And the graphic designer made it so we could use it for spring. And I challenge any of you, if I hadn't told you that, to be able to tell that these guys were wearing different clothes. So I was like so excited to see that we're getting extra mileage out of these photos that we've paid for. And, a woman came into my office the other day and told me that she had come in specifically to complain to the first selectman because people were riding bicycles on the sidewalk going the wrong way. And thank God they were at least wearing helmets. And are these electric bikes? And so it just goes to show that you can never think of everything that would bother somebody. Because I was super happy about the long sleeve shirts and the long pants, and that was all I was thinking about, but other people were thinking about other things, so. Anyway, burst my bubble a little bit.
I mean, the way they got the creases right too. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not like,
But I thought you guys would think it's cool about how we're really being able to maximize our photo assets this way. So.
Okay, you have something on the new business on the art hall reception?
Yeah, I thought I would have a date to announce for that, but,
I think you had one suggested and you.
yeah, and then I talked to the, teacher when she was hanging the photos the other day, and that day didn't work for the high school, so I think it's gonna be in June sometime. I'm still waiting to hear back from the teachers to agree. But they really would like to have it. The kids are super excited to have their artwork up here, and I think it would be nice.
Yeah.
And we were thinking maybe even, I have to check with Park and Rec to find out when they're doing that Coast Guard band concert. Because if we did it on the same night, if that worked out, That would be a really cool connection where we could really promote the America 250 theme and people could come to the concert and they could pop in to see the art and so we could cross
Have a
promote
bigger
it.
crowd too, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if that works out. I don't know if it will, but possibly. And the camera crew who just took their exhibit down want to exhibit again. They already filled out another application for next summer. So, they had a nice exhibit. I don't know if you got to see it. And they were very nice to work with, so. If you guys have no objections, I don't see why they shouldn't come back again next summer.
Very good. It was a good exhibit too. The pictures were really nice.
I even got a photo tip from one of you guys. I haven't tried it. I think it's a little above my pay grade. So.
Alright. I'm zipping right along. Under old business, website, anything new on that?
I just have the website on there, so I don't forget about it, but I really have nothing new to report on the website.
And we kind of talked already about the video, right?
Oh, yeah. we did.
Okay. So, let's go on to on-call, I think, we have a pass on it.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring this up again because I did Dave originally contacted Dale, he was the consultant for Rivercog. And then I reached out to him after Dave's conversation with him. And I did invite him to this event, but he's unable to attend. But he did say he'd like to touch base with me just to get some basic information. So I'm gonna be meeting with him next week to do that. And one of the things that he had said he wanted to talk about was kind of what we were looking for. And we did talk about that and I made notes about it at the last meeting. But, so I thought maybe we'd go over that one more time and if there's anything particular you wanted me to convey to him, I would make sure to make a note of that. Some of the things that we had highlighted last time, that I was thinking of bringing up to him are under the organizational development and capacity building. We had talked about number one, potentially the orientation and training, for commission members and the performance measurement and evaluation, which is something we have consistently talked about here as an area where we are always trying to do better. So, those were two things. Under economic development policy and program planning, one thing we had talked about last time was the cluster analysis and sector planning. So where we would sort of strategize about where we'd like to grow and see what we could do to encourage that growth, which I think is a nice proactive way to think about things. And then one thing that was brought up would be leveraging the SEDS and, how can we fit into that regional plan? Which I think is part of his mandate through Rivercog. I think it's like the phase 2 for them. So, I mean, because obviously that's in Rivercog's best interest in keeping with all the work we did for that regional plan. The other thing that we had talked about was business retention and expansion. An attraction and creation, which I think goes along well with our second phase that we're kind of moving into now, from business to consumer to business to business. So, that tracks with the way that we were going anyway. And then the final thing that we had talked about is under the neighborhood and Main Street business support would be facilitate planning for community scale business hubs, including market tenant mix analysis, placemaking priorities, and venue creation and operator recruitment. So that kind of goes along, I think, with our ideas about how do we encourage the kind of businesses to come onto Main Street when there's a vacancy that we're looking for, instead of leaving that up to chance. So if there are other things that, I know I just passed this out for the second time tonight. If you take it home and you want to look it over a little more, or if you, just saw anything else that caught your eye while we were chatting here, I'm happy to add that to the list to talk with him about. Or if you agree with the things that we've already checked off as sort of being the next step in our journey here, then I will start with those things with him.
So how do you, see Old Saybrook participating with, say, Essex or Centerbrook or other places in our region? I mean, I can see us kind of each town kind of going it alone, but what do you think are the common issues that you share? Or if there are there any?
Well, I mean, I think everyone has challenges with housing right now. I mean, I think everybody is really trying to tell their story and encourage people to see them as a unique place to come and spend time in. But as we've talked about, I mean, especially when we're in these smaller communities, if somebody's coming here for like longer than a day, they probably are gonna go around to different places. They're not gonna spend every day in Old Saybrook, which is why on our visitor website, the things to do includes things to do in the area, not just here. And even I have like Mystic Aquarium on there, because if you're coming here for a week, renting an Airbnb, and you're going to Harvey's Beach and you're playing mini golf, I mean, it's perfectly feasible that you would probably drive down to Mystic and go to the aquarium, so we want to show that there's lots to do. And it's not too far, and you can experience it all here, so. We're part of the Middlesex. The problem too is like there's different tourism areas, like there's Old Lyme is part of like New London, actually, and we're part of Middlesex, and that includes Hartford, a lot of it.
Enfield too.
Yeah, it's these very weird configurations of how the regional tourism districts are drawn. And so it's like, you're like a little bit here and you're a little bit there. And honestly, it's super time consuming to be engaged with all of them. And I don't know how to make that simpler. I mean, I could spend half of my time going to all these different meetings for all these different tourism things, and that cannot be my only focus, so.
Just a little history. Before it became 3, east, west, and center, there were 19 of us in the state of Connecticut, 19 regional districts, and that all reflected to the availability of funding through sales taxes, to the lodging and so forth. And it's not perfect, absolutely not perfect, but we had to get out of 19. It was ridiculous, yeah.
I see that the River Cloud initiative, helping us attract different businesses, better businesses, retaining the ones we have on Main Street. But if we learn something and they can help advise us as it relates to Mariners Way, right? That's a project 2 years down the road where residential businesses will be coming. If we can have a good understanding on, and with their help, how to attract the right businesses. We have a greenfield opportunity here to build new businesses. It's not like we're trying to replace, jackrabbits or something like that. So I think if we could try to glean some knowledge to get help from them on how to incentivize businesses to come to this Mariners Way, if it ever comes to fruition, I think that would be a big win for us.
Mhm.
I think we need to decide what Mariners Way wants to be first. Because I think we struggle with that. And I don't wanna see it overdeveloped, because I think we need what's there. You know, unfortunately, it is. If you're coming from the east, it is the entrance into the town. That's the unfortunate side to it, but we need those kind of industrial type spaces. Like to take where, the tow facility is and call that residential is just foolish in my mind. It's been that way for decades. Why are we changing it now?
So one thing we looked at when the previous time we considered Mariners Way was maybe something with Middlesex Community College having a site there. But another one that I was really fascinated with, and I don't know if I could even find where it's located now, but it's a college in which it's really a building trade college. I mean, so, but you can also get a poetry, you know, take poetry classes or English classes, so that it strengthens the students' ability to be successful.
Right.
And
And I agree with that. I think something along the lines where you have more of a trade school,
Mhm.
somewhere where people can learn to be a chef, or to learn to weld, or to do the things that AI isn't going to take away. You know, we still need mechanics, we need plumbers, we need electricians, until they really come up with robots. I'm never gonna let a robot in my house to do electrical. I mean, let's be realistic.
I agree. So does this commission have any say in that? Will we have a play? Will anybody listen to this commission and say, we don't want another nail salon on Mariners Way, we
Right.
want a building that is a trade school? Do we have any teeth, this commission? And that's what I've only been on it a year. Do we have the ability to say there, does anybody not listen to us?
I think we have the ability to do that. And I think one of the other things that happened was that previously, a lot of those properties were available, they weren't sold, and they were brownfields. Well, now some of these have been sold, so it's sort of taken away the opportunity, you know, to do something special, because now it belongs in private hands. But which is not to say that if we came up with a great idea, like a trade school that had a college degree with it, that it would be possible to make that happen, I think.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find that reference. It was very exciting, and I thought, boy, this is just, you know, like what would be fantastic in our area.
I mean, I think that the people on the Mariners Way Committee are thinking about some of these creative ideas. I mean, they've actually got their own list of similar creative ideas, and so I think they would appreciate hearing ideas that this committee has, and you know, certainly it might be possible to have a liaison for them, or all of their stuff is always online, posted afterwards if you want to, you know, take a minute to look at the minutes or look at the video. But if something comes up too, I certainly think that if you sent a letter with your opinion, they would be interested in hearing it. I think they want. I don't think that the majority of them want to change the whole character of the area. I think at one point, people were thinking that way, and I think that is evolving.
I agree. I
Yes.
think the original study they did, they were really changing the character of that area.
Yeah,
And I think what's new is they are looking at, well, how do we just make it look better, as opposed to how do we change it? But I agree. I think we need, as a commission, to weigh in on what we would like to see. And maybe it's having a joint meeting with them.
I think better than just a letter, a joint meeting would be great.
Yeah, no, I think a joint meeting,
I
yeah,
think once we come to some kind of agreement as a commission,
right,
whether we all go and sit with them, or we have 2 or 3 representatives and say, here's a analysis we did. We've gotten some help, here's what we want, here's some ideas we'd like to discuss it, and Because I would like to see us have some teeth into this project.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
I will tell you the other thing that is important to them is that whatever happens in that area doesn't replicate sort of other areas we have, like Main Street has its unique role and flavor. You know, down by Max's Place, that has its unique role and flavor. I think Ferry Point will have its unique role and flavor, so Mariner's Way also will have its own, and not to try and cannibalize those different things, you know. So.
Right.
Yeah, I think they would be excited to hear from you. To know they're not alone, 6 people on an island.
How do we proceed? Do we want to put that, put something on our agenda for the next meeting? To talk to spend a little time on talking about it within our committee.
I think we need to view what transpired in that meeting was on the 23rd. And then come back with some discussion points.
You know what else I could do is, I'll dig out of my notes, actually, I think it's in one of the minutes from one of the last few meetings. Where they did a brainstorming session, just like you guys were talking about, and they made a whole list of like interesting ideas that they had, and I think you guys would like to see that list.
Yes.
It was in the context of zoning, and if we were going to. Or if they were going to suggest new things that would be in the zoning, what kinds of things might they want if they were dreaming big?
I will say I drove through there today. And I have to say that Fine Fettle has really done a nice job improving the look of that piece of property.
Yeah, they really.
You know,
And $20,000 a month coming into the
Yeah.
town coffers, that's just.
That's not bad.
And is that 3% of what they did get?
Drug industry is very profitable.
Yes, it is.
After being in pharmaceuticals. for
Right.
years.
And that money is being used for the streetscape plan.
Great.
Excellent.
Wow.
Good.
Somebody may want another one at the other end of town.
Yeah. There's a proposal.
There's actually.
Is there really?
So we're down to, advisory group.
That will be fun to get to the, your DMV.
You know, marketing. for-
Oh, yeah.
With you, and.
Yeah,
Should I, because I did go to the wetlands committee, there's only one thing on the docket, do you typically want to hear what was on there? Sure.
sure, yeah.
So it's the piece of property on King Street, right behind the diner. 91 King Street, I think it's a dog grooming. All across the street, yeah. So they're trying to sell it, the previous owners, in the back, it's pretty much paved over with gravel. They encroached a little too far on the within a 100-foot boundary of wetlands. And so the current owner is trying to sell it, but it's got to clear the violation, so he came in. Wasn't necessarily very well prepared, so we sent him back, but I'm assuming that will be approved within due course. That was it
How's the budget process going?
for,
Fine, what, are you on water finance?
no. I was years ago, but
Yeah, when the referendum is. We'll just have to see if the parents. You and me.
Okay, anything else?
No, only if people have second thoughts about anything else you want me to talk to Dale about when I speak with him next week, just let me know.
Okay.
And I'll send you that list.
No, just, let me know when Dale's coming in, because I haven't seen him. It's nothing to say hello, unless you want me to do part of what you're doing.
Okay, I forget to tell him he's coming,
Yeah.
so.
Just give me know.
Okay,
All right, there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Great. Second,
Second.
Liz,
Well,
all in favor?
No,
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay.
I, for some reason, I, you know, it's some,
Continue to be.